Welcome back to Why Do We Relate on SpeterTV. Got a classic today. Why do we relate to two characters who barely ever say anything, Tom and Jerry? I'm going to talk about Tom, then I'll talk about Jerry, then I'll talk about their dynamic together. Tom Cat has a lot of traits that might really speak to you, positive and negative. Let's start with the negative actually. He's really full of himself. Like, he loves to gloat. If he were in different circumstances, I could see him sort of being like Squidward actually. He really does think he's, well, the cat's meow. And anytime he has Jerry sort of caught, he's going to take the time to rub it in his face. But that's why his constant comeuppance always feels justified. He's always going to get a little too cocky, and then something's always going to knock him down back to earth. And I've definitely known people like that. You might know people like that. You might be people like that. I don't know. And whether you relate because you see it in yourself or in someone else, it's definitely something you can recognize. But on the positive side, this dude does not give up. He's about as resilient as it gets. It doesn't matter what happens to him, he's going to try to catch that mouse. He can go through physical trauma or emotional trauma or probably more physical trauma, but he will not give up. And that's a very admirable trait for us. If we have a goal that we're chasing, there will be physical or emotional or financial or whatever sort of issues in our way. At some point, something will come up. But if we're chasing our most important goals the way Tom chases Jerry, we'll find a way to do the best we can. Now what about Jerry? Mr. Jerry Mouse. Really, he has a lot of similar traits to Tom. He also can get a little cocky, but he also doesn't give up. But the one thing that I think sets him apart is how crafty he is. He's very resourceful. He'll use whatever he can to get in Tom's way, whether that be a rake or pots and pans or even a friend or even a stranger. He's very creative with the resources available to him. And again, we might be like that, or we might at least want to be like that. Because a lot of times you just have to make use of whatever it is that you have. Maybe you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a car or a job or whatever. I'm talking about myself. But you have to make do with whatever you do have. And that includes asking for help. And there's probably more I can get into individually about these guys. But I think there's a lot to say about their dynamic. A literal cat and mouse chase. You might feel like Tom chasing your goals or dreams or whatever it may be. You might feel like Jerry running away from your past or your environment. The chase in and of itself is so simple that it's going to strike a chord with a whole bunch of people. And it never feels like the chase has an end in sight. Now, if you're applying that to your life, that might be terrifying, it might be exciting. But one way or another, there's a good chance that it feels true. And when you look at Tom and Jerry, or Sylvester and Tweety, or Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, or Batman and the Joker, you're not ever sure if they really want the chase to end. There's something about it that they clearly enjoy. So whatever your chase is, I hope you're at least enjoying the process. And another thing I find interesting about their dynamic is Tom might be the antagonist just for being the one doing the chasing, but he never really feels like a bad guy, especially not more so than Jerry ever does really. They do bad things to each other with a mutual understanding that is going to happen, and it feels like they have a mutual respect for each other. And I think that's because it comes down to the fact that they both know that they're just trying to survive. It's all about survival. Depending on the episode, Tom might just be trying to not get kicked out of the house, or might be trying to prevent chaos. And Jerry's just trying to literally not die. And I think it's safe to say that we all can relate to the idea of just trying to survive. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, feel free to give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want it. I'm at 78 right now as I record this, and I can tell you that I do have a plan for 100, just letting you know. So yeah, let me know what you thought about the video, what you think about Tom and Jerry, the classic cat and mouse chase. Share this video out to every cat and mouse you know. See you next week.